You've heard me monologue about a lot of teams before, and today I'm just going to rip off the Band-Aid. It's time to talk about Team Heretics and that pesky little second place curse. I know, it's not gonna be easy, but it's gotta be done. No team in the history of Valorant has been defined by their near misses and heartbreaks more than Team Heretics in 2024. Let's take you back to the beginning of last year, where nobody expected this ragtag group of young guns to make every single global event. Boo had won just 2 matches in the entirety of 2023, and now he had to work with a Fortnite kid, his own brother, 2 Turkish aimers, one of them wasn't even old enough to participate in VCT yet, and a stand-in. But from the first moment they stepped onto that stage, they were simply brilliant. The loss against KC in the finals at Kickoff didn't really matter. They put themselves on the map and had the entire region excited about what else they could do. With Voot coming into the starting roster at stage 1, Heretics went from strength to strength, and it wasn't long before they found themselves in yet another grand final. But oh boy, this one hurt. And as if finishing second wasn't heartbreaking enough, it was also the first time any team in EMEA had been reverse swept in a grand final. From there, it was silver medal after silver medal. Shanghai Masters, champs in Korea. With every near miss, the weight of it grew heavier. Whether it was the final round that slipped away or the clutch moment that didn't quite go their way, Team Heretics had been cursed. It was a bad joke, really. Team Heretics, yeah, of course they're gonna finish second again. However, if 2024 was the year of the almost, 2025 could become the year of the finally. They've got the same group of players, they claim they've learned their lesson, and they've got the fans behind them. This curse, it's only setting them up for something bigger. The path has not been easy, but when they finally raise that trophy, it'll be more than just a win. It'll be the culmination of every moment that led them there. Now, I apologize, everybody, for bringing this up and to drag you through the heartbreaks of last year. But Kakuka and Billy, that's the reality. This team, no matter how many times they qualify, no matter how well they do and how many metas they define, everybody is always making fun of them for coming second.
I love the speech. I love the monologue. I think that I was missing the Ajax disrespect them. I think that seriously, as you were saying, 2024, it was a brilliant year for Team Heretics. The problem is that they didn't culminate. They didn't get that trophy. Everybody was proud of them, and especially in the region, but it was heartbreaking, absolutely devastating, especially when we were in that final in Korea, when, again, it was happening in front of all of us. The one thing they were scared of, for it to happen again, and it ended up happening.
Yeah.
I got goosebumps after that monologue, so I'm not gonna lie.
I appreciate that, but the thing is, Billy, surely this is their year, right?
Yeah, you'd like to think so. I mean, when we think about them coming into it last year, right, they were the underdogs. No one expected to go on the run that they did go on. And what I'd like to think going into this year is they are the one roster in EMEA that has not made any changes.
And of course, we can understand why, because at the beginning of 2024, this was sold to us as a long-term project. And just look at what they achieved in the very, very short term. They earned all of our hearts. I do not remember of a single EMEA fan and you cannot tell me if I'm wrong, because otherwise it would mean that you're not an EMEA fan, that was not cheering for them throughout the year.
This is the thing. Why would you even make any roster changes? This feels like, in a lot of ways, best in slot. Realistically, who else are you going to bring in to replace some of these players? But does that make the pressure even bigger that they haven't made any changes? The coaching staff is still the same. They still haven't won any title, and this includes in EMEA. It's not just globally. Do they have more pressure now, as you guys in chat vote on whether they can, Kakuka, to make sure they actually win something?
I think they know that all eyes are on them. Not only because of that, they also had the extra week that both Foot and Heretics have had to prepare for this one. So we know that they have all the pieces, is what they're going to do with them, and also what they have possibly learned from previous week.
Yeah, I think it's a good point to raise. I think last year with them coming in as the underdogs, obviously they didn't probably have that pressure on them to begin with. You know, they kind of just exceeded expectations because there was no expectations on them. Whereas this year we're looking at them and we're going, okay, there has to be at one point where they win an event. And like you say, so even if it is an event within their own region.
Also, whoever's voting no, you're evil. You're actually evil. Like, it should be 100% yes. Come on. We got to vote yes for them. But they will be, of course, opening their game today against the Gentlemates. And we have seen this before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. During the off-season, yes, it was a friendly show match. Let's call it what we want. But it was not only Gentlemates coming out on top. Yes, it was very close. But we kind of foresaw, we could foresee some of the changes in roles that maybe we will see in Team Heretics this year. Yes, as I'm saying, even though Mates got the win, it's the big takeaways as what is next for Team Heretics after not achieving what they wanted in 2024. How are they still going to remain fast and fresh?
Yeah, that's a good point to make. I mean, my opinion of it is that we can't look at the off-season too much, just because, you know, it's the time where teams try out new things. They're trying to build new players into the roster. But of course, with Team Heretics not having any roster changes, I was hoping that they'd actually taken the time to kind of chill out, rest a little bit. You know, they've not had to trial any newbies coming in. So hopefully they've had some well-earned rest and they can get jumping back right into it.
I mean, that's what we can hope. That's what we can hope for. The only reason I read into this particular off-season event is because Gentlemates kept their comp, right? They played some comps in the off-season. They kept it. They came in with it. It obviously worked for them. You know, why would you change it? And from their debut, I mean, they looked very good. I feel like it would be a disservice, Billy, to say they looked anything but very good.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think that all of the players showed up when they needed to show up. You've seen a lot of individual moments, but I think as well, like, we're getting to see that synergy on stage with the electricity that Robbie K brings, right? He's been so vocal within the team. We've seen him screaming so much. I know that we'll have a little look at those clips a little bit later, but yeah, I just think that this first outing for Gentlemates was really good prospects for what they might bring into this one today.
And we just saw Zeus having his debut, right? But for many of the Gentleman players, this was the reality, all in just one team, going up against Apex. We were talking about how important those points are for these two teams at the end of the year. So of course pressure was on them. Now they got their victory. They were the only team that got a 2-0 last week. I know that the opponent is different, it's much bigger, and the expectation is definitely there. But I hope that that has given them some kind of like inspiration to keep up with the performance.
I honestly think it might be closer than it looks on paper, because obviously any team against this Team Heretics team, the odds are not going to be in their favor. But after what we saw, it kind of feels like maybe they have a chance. But what I will say is Robbie BK leading from the front, so passionate, giving us all those reactions. This is not going to work against Boo. Like you can scream a Boo and do this all day long if you want. Boo's not gonna give a damn.
It has to feel good though, you know, being able to do this. But I agree with you. Maybe, well, I don't know. You know, we've seen some changes the same way that we see Nats now being more vocal. Oh, yes, ideally and all this. But we can see some changes in the tendencies, because sometimes you have not been provoked enough, and I feel like
they have. I think they have been provoked enough for sure.
But it has to be that one person that just literally you can't stand, that literally breaks your nerves, and
Didn't
you're
they
like,
play against Zelsis? Like, I feel like that, if that doesn't affect you.
Celsius always gets dragged on.
No, but because like he's the ultimate person on the other team that could get into your head.
Yeah, but it's also now like the build up. We still do not know if maybe we see a Heretics that is now seeing themselves as the villain, as the last year it was more
surely
like
not the villain.
Wait a second. I know, los niños. I know.
They're not the villain.
Listen to me. The same way that the last year they were the underdogs and they were always in this situation enough. Now Patitek is playing. Arians is not even on the stage. Wood cannot play. So many things can go for them that maybe they want to portray themselves differently.
I don't like that. I hope not. I hope they don't. But let's hear from Robbie PK and see what he had to say.
I think being an IGL, you just need to be very stable mentally and show up to practice every day with a good mood and show an example to your team. Because if you don't do that, I think everything will fall apart.
Come on! Come on! Pick me! Keep me!
Honestly, I feel very confident IGLing this season. I'm not sure how it's going to go towards the beginning. There's probably a lot of adaptations that I'll have to make. But I'm sure that if I work hard and gentlemen, like if we keep working hard, then towards the end of the year, we're going to be really, really good.
Thank you very much for that one. Let's see if we can get any of the danger back on the other side here. Floor handled well, Robbie. Yeah, so clean. This guy is an absolute animal. Lovely.
Our main goal this year is champs, so I'll see you guys there.
I mean, you talk about villains, and so I'm not saying that he is one at all, but it does feel like the energy they were giving, you know, the amount of screaming they were doing, how passionate they were. And if they were to take down Heretics today, it does feel like maybe they could take on that role a little bit better.
Many people would consider it a massive upset. We were just seeing in that video how he said, you know, see you in Paris. He's very confident, and I think that is a very good quality to have in an IGL. Even with all of those replays that we were seeing from him and the attitude that he was having, in the second map, he had like 5 or 7 kills in 24 rounds. My man was still giving it. That is the kind of performance, that is the kind of intention that you got to have as an IGL.
And to be fair, on post-plan after, when we showed him Click's highlights from that map, he was like, where are my highlights? He was like, why are you not showing my 5 kills? Yeah, and you got to love that, Billy.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's one thing I was going to say about him was, you know, we need to think about consistency here. He was amazing in that first map, but then as soon as, I was going to say he quietened down in the second one, there was nothing quiet about Robbie BK whatsoever. But yeah, no, I think for me, I'm going to be looking at how he can perform consistently. At least the vibes are consistent, though. I will say that.
Yeah, and another interesting head-to-head we have to talk about is Click coming in, going up against Miniboo, and particularly the fact that Click is the only player, Billy, that's played Neon. And if he does it against Miniboo, and Miniboo chooses Neon, that's going to be really interesting.
I know, I'm quite excited at the prospect that we might get to see a Neon versus Neon action. And like you say, Click is the only person that has played Neon so far in Kickoff, which to me, maybe not so much as a surprise. You know, we did see some Neon nerf changes come in at the start of this year. So perhaps it is due to the Neon nerf. You know, you've only got one less slide now, sorry, and there's been some accuracy changes. So yeah, I mean, he went crazy on the Neon. He had like 9 first kills, 3 first deaths, everything that you could expect and ask for from your duelist.
I think it's a good sign to see teams playing different compositions and still running the Neon. Yes, the agent has been nerfed, but that doesn't mean that it's unplayable anymore. We've seen most of the smokers used. I like to see, you know, we saw the ISO. I like the kind of different ideas that everybody's bringing onto the table. And of course, the one that Gentleman is bringing is as valid as any other. To me, the question is still on the other side. You were mentioning Miniboo, but we have seen plenty of duelist potential on the side of Team Heretics. And in that friendly show match that they had, it was actually Wood playing it. But, you know, changes, Deco edition. I think that they have too many good players. Like, name one player that could not play, that should be a mistake to put on Tejo.
Benji Fishy.
Do you think so?
Yes, because then you would have to shift his agents to other people. That's why
I
I
like
feel
the
like.
Vice.
Yeah, there we go. But let's speak about Boo here, because he's had a bit of a role change too in the off-season. I don't know if he's going to stick with it coming into this. Do we like it? Do we not like it? How do we feel?
I think that first we need to go and see. Of course, yeah, the show match is just for funsies, whatever, but it's a good moment to test, especially with the teams that have not played a lot during the off-season with all the changes that we've had. It's good that they have this window of opportunities and having different people that they can swap on different roles, because it will will help them a lot during the year.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think if Boo wants to approach the game in a different sense, being that on that IGL role as well, I think that it's a good opportunity to kind of get out of your comfort zone as well, right? They know that because of only placing second last year in every event, sorry to bring it up again, they need to start innovating, and there clearly needs to be something that they do differently going into this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's day one. We haven't seen them yet, so we shall see. We had to save the best till last, of course. It's time for the return of Los Niños taking on Gentlemen's today. Let's bring out Team Heretics onto stage.
With me.
Gentlemen's had a fantastic start on this stage last week, but they got to go up against Team Heretics today, the team that made absolutely no changes to their roster and coaching staff. We do see a few masks on stage. Perhaps they're feeling a little bit under the weather, but it's still Team Heretics we're talking about. The team that made such a great stand on the international stage last year as well. And looking at the map, Mitos, of course, they don't have Sunset anymore coming into this.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, and we're not going to see Lotus at least today. Abyss is going to be the first map. We were speaking about all those possible role swaps, and the one map that we did see amongst the ones that we're seeing right now in that friendly show match was that Abyss. We already saw some changes, like Wood on the Astra, Venji on the Vice. Billy, how do you feel about that? Do you think that they should keep those changes?
Yeah, I think so. I think that they've obviously gone ahead and prepared stuff for it in the off-season. Whether or not Mates has anti on that now, because they had obviously played up against each other on that map in the off-season, that's another question in itself. But I think that, like I said before, it's good for them to try out new things, and it's good for them to kind of innovate going into this year.
It is indeed, but also they have had that extra week. We know how Foot used that extra week. They looked absolutely incredible. We should expect the same really with Team Heretics, because Nilzinho and Weber are the type of people that even if you give them an extra day, they're going to make the absolute most out of that. But the reason I mentioned the Sunset is because last year, Heretics almost always came in with a default 1-0 every single best of 3. No matter what, because they had that Sunset. It is not here this time around. So are we expecting maybe for them to turn another map instantly into their home ground?
I mean, they have to, right? Is the reality that they have to live with. The maps are going to be coming in and out. That is how Valorant works. So let's see what they do. On the other side, now that Zippen is on our camera, I think he was a little bit of the unsung hero last week for Mates. I think that his utility was on point. He was a very, very good player in Navi, and I think that this year is going to be a big deal for him.
It honestly felt like he was the unsung hero on Navi as well. That's his entire career. He is just that guy. So reliable too coming into this. What a crazy story it will be though for Mates if they're able to take down Heretics today. And taking a look at the agent select. Okay, Gentlemates Mini. Billy, what do you make of this?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's not far off of what we've seen from other teams on Abyss so far already. Obviously, this is the first time that we're going to get to see Gentlemates Abyss during Kickoff. But yeah, kind of vanilla, I want to say, honestly.
I mean, the role swap. They kept with the role swap.
Exactly. So Benji is going to not be on the Vice. He's going to be on the Cypher. But as you're saying, Boo now playing on the KO. Wood playing from the Astra. Really willing to see how Mini Boo is going to be feeling this year, especially going up against two duelists. Again, the Gentlemates composition has the same issue. Like, now they're on the defense, but they're playing without a Sentinel. Of course, the aggression we expect it to happen, especially over mid. And they have to try and condition Team Heretics, because all otherwise, with the synergy that Heretics have, those executes are going to be brutal.
Yeah, and you have to think as well, you've got those two brothers on that duelist and on that initiator as well. Like,
no better synergy.
To find synergy, that is synergy right there. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to how they two pair up and how Boo's going to be setting Miniboo up going into this one.
I completely agree. And of course, you know, Miniboo in EMEA towards the end of last year had his inconsistencies here click. It looked amazing last week. It would be interesting to see that head-to-head. And of course, Gentlemates Mini on his debut on Yoru, because why not? And speaking of Gentlemates Mini, he's standing by with Pansy. Over to you guys.
Now, another Mini to talk about Mini, and I actually want to start there because this composition from Gentlemates I quite like. The standouts to me were Click and it was Mini, but this is a very different role. Playing that Yoru here, this is going to test his skill set overall, surely.
Yeah, I've only ever seen him play Sentinel, to be honest with you, and this is not the
not
same
even close
at all.
Yeah.
So I think for this, I quite like it in the context of an underdog mentality.
Sure.
Like, it's a bit of a risk, like going for that double duelist, double dive. Like, we're gonna try and test to see how good Benji is like at dealing with this. You know what I mean? On his defense.
And that's, I do want to bring up the point eventually. Maybe not now because the round is live. We've got a little bit of action to start with, but let's talk about that comp in a moment. So keep that in your mind. But Miniboo going to go through the motions, straight in towards the site. Hasn't got too much problem until then revealed. Robbie BK draws first blood. Miniboo's gone down. The next leg is Zipan. He isn't alone. He's got some support with him, but Zipan is now the last one really trying to hold it down. Nice work towards Woot, but Rien's left in a 1v3. Surrounded here. Star in his own right. 15 seconds for the dart to come back up and a minute to play with. He can reset the playing field here.
He might get cheeky and try and go towards B, but...
Oh, they're walking it though. They want to clear that. They want to make sure he can't slip the net, but he's played this well. Nice try, nice shot, but a better answer back. Too many bodies for Gentlemates, and they were there in time.
It was a good hold. I don't know if you noticed, but there was a smoke that Zipan used in the backside there just to delay. I've not seen that before, just using that smoke in the back. Usually you see it in like the front of the bridge or maybe kind of more forward, but a very interesting idea from there.
And as we're coming into it's going to be probably classic, so unless something really interesting happens, we can kind of switch to it. But how do you feel about this Heretics comp? Because again, this is the team we're sending out to the internationals, right? They're the team that, you know, we're the kings who never got their crown, but this composition doesn't do it for me yet. I was hoping for something a little new, a little, you know, innovative. Yeah, there was some, you know, a little bit of an agent swap here and there, some differences, but none of the new agents, none of that coming in. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, there's a Tejo-sized elephant in this room.
Yes.
To be quite honest with you, like my read on this meta right now, even on a map like Abyss, is that if you're not playing that Tejo across multiple maps, you are not going to be doing well in an international tournament.
Because, look, all of us have been watching the other regions, right? I think we're all on the edge of our seats with EDG today, where they're going to make it, where they're not. They kicked into gear. They're fine for now. I mean, NA, I hate to say it, because, you know, EMEA, they look absolutely nasty, don't they? They look ready to go. I mean, I'm seeing phantoms everywhere. I'm seeing, like, meta comps. They look sharp as hell. So I get a little nervous. Now, it's only map 1, so I'm gonna put
this
my
isn't
nose
their
away.
map pick.
Correct.
This isn't their map pick. This could be...
It's fine. It's fine. It could be fine. I'm worried it's not, but you know what? We'll see.
I think the other thing to note is this role swap. Traditionally, like I said last time with Angel in the KO, IGLs usually aren't very good at KO. There's very few in the world that can do it. Boo is a good fragger, so like it could come into play. But I'm a little bit worried about that aspect too.
Yeah, this leaves us with more questions than answers, I feel like, looking at this. But I think once we get to Fracture, because that was another question mark, speaking veto-wise, with the map changes coming in and some of their strongholds being taken out, how would that affect them? But if their first answer back is right, we're running Fracture. That's our first pick here in our look. So far, so good. No real threats being found. A very slow round coming through. Spike is down, so at least that. Rien's building very close to his ult early on, but the double walk through the smoke, going to be a little slippery in the end there, Woot, but everything fine. A flawless round, it looks like, coming in. So Gentlemates will be very happy with this. 5 standing, no problems.
Yeah, very clean, especially the way they bought into that, like not kind of over-investing anything. Outlaw coming into the round 3, we'll see if that affects the round at all. But yeah, clean round.
Yeah, in-zone flawless there. Tick in the box, no problems. Heretics, this is when we start to pay a bit more attention. We've got to see what their buy is going to be like as well. Will that light shield ever be an issue? I'm not too sure. I think they'll be fine. I'm seeing mostly heavy shields coming in, so not too much of an issue. That Outlaw could then suffer.
It's fine, it's just one of those annoying things that you always got to kind of tick the box, and now you're round 4 or 5. If it gets too close, you start being annoyed that you've had to buy that heavy shield.
Again, I want to see if Gentlemates are willing to take a risk in this round. You're on a bonus. Try and make something happen. It was a very slow and steady round from Heretics.
Immediately a mid push here.
Yeah, let's keep our eyes on middle then.
A nice little double bait here, so we're going to probably see someone Click taking first contact, and then Mini will kind of be the kind of linchpin if corners aren't checked properly.
Look at the tempo set again. Heretics very slow. Nice little flash in the corner, but with smoke in the way, not really going to affect Zip. Oh, that's a huge pick too. Taking away Rienne's removes a lot of that ability to get towards these sites on those heavy executes they might want to be running. But this still spread default. No one's going walkabouts deep here for Gentlemates. They're kind of sat back towards site. You've got a very passive hold towards B. That's fine. We've seen that slight gambit towards middle almost, kind of pop in Mini in the corner, but you still have that quick rotate from Click, so they can easily lean over. Did they just deep check on towards A there?
Drone just came through into A, so we're going to see a fast rotate over now towards B. Already 3 people here, could be seeing the 4th. This could be rough for Heretics going into the site. They're going to have to contact up.
And already they're being punished. That one bit of util, that one little bit of a deep investment coming up from Robbie, clearing through A, was perfect. It sent everything in motion, that perfect waterfall effect back towards B. Stunning. That's a bonus converted. An in-zone flawless round. That's ridiculous here. I thought that was going to be a nice little kind of, I don't know, a good fight on this one. I've got to say, Heretics look a little flat so far.
Yeah, I mean, the first part of their default is to take that A main like most teams, and that's supposed to be the easy part when you're not playing against an operator, and Zipan's just done it with a Bulldog.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure exactly why he got that so easily.
And this could be when it starts to hurt, though, because these light shields now come through. That Outlaw's still in play. Their money is going to be outstanding. They're going to be absolutely sitting on bank. So
they're going to be able to drop operators all game for Click or Mini, whoever. I'm going to presume is Click.
You'd imagine so.
Yep. But, you know,
gosh,
Mini's not bad at open.
Look, Mini's got a lot of talent.
No, I'm joking.
Right,
I don't know if
coach,
Mini
he's a
probably isn't a good open.
We're just making it up
I'm
now.
making jokes.
Yeah.
Being silly.
You having humour, Mini? Well, I
Oi.
never. And again, this time a little bit of a different pace. You can see the tempo change a little bit quicker, but this is with Sheriff. So as much as this may have some threat, there's still 2 players on B. They've been able to keep Mini here early. This is an extended bonus pretty much, but it's up against Sheriff. So
I do like this hold though. We're going to see Mini go for that first initial contact and then just peel to the pad. Need it?
Oh, he doesn't need it! He doesn't need it! Mini is farming them! 3 clean kills, and he feels no fear. Standing tall, team's there. Boo the only one to draw blood. Almost another flawless round. You gotta be a little worried.
Worried, yeah. A little bit worried.
Again, contextually, we're talking bigger picture. As much as this is Gentlemates' map choice, we don't know how high up in the map pool this is for Heretics, for example. Clearly, we can see they looked a little under the weather there, but that aside, they're not running the new kind of compositions. They've had a really flat start here, and it's a very early timeout. This feels just like a check-in of what's going on here, boys. It feels very like surface level check-in.
When you're taking the timeout on round 5, you're 4-0 down, it's not because there's anything strategic going on.
No.
Like, I don't think I've ever taken a timeout in this instance and been able to, you know, do anything.
Yeah.
You're pretty much just, you know, let's take some breaths. Let's just get back into it a little bit. Yeah, there's been 1 gun round.
Pretty much, right? And I don't know if you know this, you might do, you might not. What is the divide between Weber and Niels when it comes to how they approach coaching? Because that seemed like mostly Weber chatting there rather than Niels. So do you think that's the divide we're seeing a little bit, or is it just whoever's taken that moment or
I think
taken
in
that time
timeout
out?
specifically, it's whoever has the idea.
Cool.
I got this kind of, from what I've heard from friends, Weber is slightly more on the strategic side.
Interesting.
And then Neil is a bit more of a kind of dad, leader, you know what I mean? But both
Daddy
of them
Niels.
have obviously got that
it.
kind of strategic pass, so it's not
Yeah.
surprising to me if
Whoever
talking.
takes it, yeah. Okay, early ults as well. We've got to touch on this. We've got Cadaver really close by, one off from his. We do have Zipan with his as well, not most influential. And beyond that, it kind of works its way down. On the other side, they do have Rienne's with his. But
Yep.
a cold start for Miniboo. That's rough, to be fair. 0-4 so far. And Benji as well. Benji is still one of the most iconic players in this role. I want to see him find some comfort here, but they've got to hit the ground running.
Yeah, I guess the only thing in the timeout really strategically could be about this Sova ult. So just doing their diligence towards A main yet again. Recon comes out, pushing anyone away. Leaving the cam there though this time, which is kind of nice later on. If we're kind of leaving that space, we can kind of just re-clear it ourselves. If we hear that drone coming back through, we can see if they've actually used it for anything.
This is the first time they're really posturing towards B. That knife coming through, a little bit of, you know, pre-fire shown on it. Click hasn't left this spot, but there's a lot more on the other side than maybe he'd expect. 3 players down the... Yeah! Who needs to expect it when you can hit that? Gets a 2-for-1 discount, and they certainly didn't need it, a 4-0. That's a gut punch for Heretics.
That cage made it look like they were kind of using it to cross, and they were kind of being sneaky and kind of walking up. I'm surprised Click even was ready for that, to be quite honest with you.
And look at them converging towards middle now. Woot's in a real pickle. Gonna try. Oh, he actually gets caught as well. Got to be a bit careful in case someone maybe got a second to shoot, but look at them clearing behind this space as well. They're taking it away.
They've killed Benji, so there's no Sentinel too. So these two at middle could go in for a late flank here.
Oh, this is massive. And again, you look at Zipan, who's been great so far. You look at Robbie, who is just, you know, Mr. Motivator when it comes down to it. Zipan, unsung hero to the headliner. 2 big kills. It leaves Rien's in a near-on unwinnable situation. 10 seconds left. Robbie, just wait for the smoke to drop. They've got time to play with here. 8 seconds. Rien's has no options. He'd love to get Robbie down, but it's just Sophie's choice. No good outcomes at all. Gentle mates make it up to 5.
I think what I'm seeing from Heretics is something I'm noting this year, looking at Abyss a bit closer. Like when I was watching Fnatic 2, I think that there was like a slight overcompensation.
Okay.
I think that if you keep it simple early and just go into those late site execs, you're usually in a decent spot. If you're kind of using the middle in the way like you're overusing middle, I feel like that's more kind of in the middle of the game you want to start using that. So the best teams I've seen so far on attack have just been kind of abusing the fact that the exec power is very strong in this match.
And it feels like the desk was kind of alluding to that too, that there was a real nice potential of this burst power coming out from Heretics, but we hadn't seen it. Now going back to something quite simplistic, it looks like. All towards that A site. Once again, Zipan, I think, noticing this is all in. I'm going to back away and play retake.
Been very good so far, but not wanting that one.
Yeah, even Heretics, clearing through backside here. They've got what they needed. Plants in.
The retake here with the AWP is going to be difficult, but they still do have...
Just a pixel!
They still have the drone.
You're right. There's going to be the preemptive Hunter's Fury. I don't think it finds anything on this, but it does at least clear a little bit of that worry, maybe towards Nest, towards Heaven, but the flash, Mini's in. He takes down Mini, but he's got a follow-up as well. Gentlemate's flooding back towards the site. The back line is all that stands. And it's only Rien's, a 1v3. This time, the time's on his side. A tap on the spike, Click is low, this could be big. Click tries to avoid, but Robbie delivers the bullet. Rien's goes down, and it's a flawless run thus far from Gentlemates. Not something I expected to be saying.
No, if you notice there are Heretics there, because of their economy state, they had to go for something more aggressive in that post. That's why we saw Rien's using the ult in a way that was a bit curious, you would think, but he was trying to use it off of the kind of forward positions with the kind of low buy that we had. Heretics had, sorry. Usually you'd see a team play offsite post with that Sova ult, but given the, you know, we haven't got the guns to spam, so...
And the ults are now cycling through. Robbie's getting louder. It's scary, right? This is the thing. It feels like, to me, Gentlemates can be such a confidence-based team as well. The more they get rewarded like this, the more they keep going, the harder it is. The first time we might see a challenge, okay, we've actually got a bit of a fight back on middle.
Yeah, the recon coming in for the first time clears it out beautifully. I think mates maybe have a read that the recon's usually being used towards A main, and therefore the middle is completely free to do these kind of walk downs. But Heretics have adjusted their recon to make sure that this middle aggression doesn't come through.
This is nice though, I like this. We've got Boo's ult as well. Woot's got his. Now, it's going to be, I think, Mini in an off angle. Kind of waiting on this one. The outer are going to come in, force him away. Oh, okay, that's a problem. Going to be caught up here, but Boo's already taken away Cadaver. It's pretty much Mini on his own. He's completely nullified this round. Finally, they just power through. A little bit of a misplay, and finally addressing middle has worked out for Heretics. Plants in, and we know where Zipan was playing, over towards A. So he's only got half the map to cover, does eventually make it back round, but a 1v5 is a lot to ask.
He did try to use the Omen ult, but he did ult into a KO ult, so it did look a bit silly.
A little bit rough. Hey, look, we've had a lot of issues with Omen TPs and ults recently, mostly North America, but they can be very confusing sometimes. So beyond that, I mean, this.
I was trying to catch up to what you meant there.
Yeah, I was really
And
extending
like,
it. You got there.
There we go. Yeah.
But again, this is the first round, right? A necessary fight back in for Heretics. It felt simplistic in approach, a couple of issues here and there for Gentlemates, but Heretics needed that.
Yeah, you don't need to keep it. You keep it simple. You don't need to overcomplicate, and those are the kind of rounds you see. Mates, I think that they didn't have enough towards that B side of the map to really hold. An unfortunate situation with Mini. I didn't catch really what actually happened there with his TP.
I thought you made a meal of it, but I might be wrong. I don't know. Maybe Song can get a clip of that. That'd be brilliant. Appreciate you guys. And the observers are probably mad at me because they're like, we already showed you this. Yeah. We've literally just shown you on the replay and you didn't even look. That's crazy.
Let's go.
Also, Benji's mullet looking fantastic at the moment. It's
already saying this.
Yeah, no, yeah, but the audience didn't hear me, enjoying it. So I'm a mullet enjoyer. Yes.
You think he has his own hairbrush? I reckon he's got his own Benji.
Yeah,
Benji
like
fishy.
Engraved. Yeah, absolutely. I wait for your mullet to come through. I feel like that could be a very powerful look for you. But it feels like this is a new approach, right, from Heretics. Touch towards middle, get a bit of control here, but already a response from Gentlemates. Look at the extremity on B. Already taking that space. Super deep hold on the other side, but I like what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I like the little... Woot is not the person you want to be walking into.
Nah, I guess not, but theory for me, I take it. I like the concept, but look at the response, though. They get that contact straight in towards that A side. This time it's Cadaver over here, though.
Yeah, he's going to need a big recon here. Oh no, they've decided to freeze.
It starts feeling a little bit weird now. You're like, wait, are we still going this way? Where are we off to?
Looks like they're going to split. It looks like they're going to split through the vents to A now.
Okay.
Really interesting mid-round.
Does that dart? Ooh, that could be misinformation. They had no idea about how close Heretics had made it. A lovely pause for thought and a little bit of a misplay on Util, and Cadaver just picks the wrong side to look at. Outdone by Boot, and the red carpet gets rolled out. This is now just down a mini 1v5, similar to what we saw only a moment ago for Zipan, so not the ideal scenario, but is this now time maybe for Gentlemates to pump the brakes themselves? They've had a great couple of rounds here. Do you think there's a solution within reach, or is it a touch base with Coach?
I think I'd take the timeout right here. The momentum shifted. Like you can feel the momentum shifted. Even just taking the pause just helps, even if you're not going to say anything useful.
Yeah.
I think that was a very interesting protocol, though, from Heretics. The idea of that you get stalled on A. Quite often you see teams kind of look very panicked when they get stalled on A.
Yeah.
And then just stand still or run to B. Whereas I quite like the mature approach of sending 3 back through middle to kind of split A. It's something I've not really seen before after being kind of cancelled on A, I guess is the way we would describe it.
And it felt like it worked incredibly. I'd be interested to know if that dart had landed better and it kind of still showed presence towards A main, how that would have changed things. Obviously, that's neither here nor there now, but it's just that curiosity. Would that have maybe changed the outcome? Who knows? I'm waiting to see if there's a timeout. Maybe Gentlemates feel like they have what they need this round. Keeping in mind that massive run at the start, up to 6 rounds, has given them so much cash. They don't have to be too worried about at least the economy here.
Heretics and money has gone through the roof too. Yeah, kind of loss bonus effects has happened.
Right here.
Looks a very simplistic approach again. Now, we've seen them pause before to add that little moment of doubt, but...
I think, though, this time we got the 3 ready. The TP's going to come in as soon as we hear this drone, hopefully.
Zipan's taken a deeper look over towards A, so he can quick with it towards Mini Boo, but the trade was there, so Woot's going to keep them at an even 4-4 on the B side. Mini makes it over in time, as you highlighted, that TP taken early, and they're still going, and Mini, Robbie, 1-2 punch, Gentlemates back in control.
Yeah, I love that setup. To be honest with you, they kind of recognized that B was probably going to be the site being hit, and I see too few teams actually using kind of strong side Bs, like using 3 people there. And with the Yoru, you don't even have to be there. He's TP'd over. 3's there instantly.
And again, in my mind, the interesting part is Gentlemates did float this up against Apex as well. They ended up picking, I think, Pearl instead at one point. So technically, this is a nice veto for them. If they can make it through this map, as they are thus far, and they continue to this trajectory, this changes the conversation. They floated this map to the very end, and I think it was removed in the end by Apex. So a very interesting one to come into this, and Zipan again, look at him. He's relentless on this approach, but he gets manhandled. That is going to put you back in your place. Boo outdoes Zipan, and suddenly that changes everything.
There was like aggression on both sides at the same time. It was very, very confusing. In those moments, it looks a bit silly on the mini-map, but when you're in the game, experiencing things like that, the comms just go wild. So, interesting idea from Mates.
Ooh, knives out. Robbie droning in. What does he get on this one? Click's getting proactive. Checks to the left. Going to spot out Boo. Stunning. It's quick. It's clean.
Yeah, I love this. Just fearlessness coming out.
Exactly where you are.
And it's nice seeing them with no fear almost in this, because it's very easy to fall into the idea of being outdone by the name you're playing against, right? Yep. Heretics are arguably one of the most, competitive teams we had, at least last year. Kadavra this off angle. Hold on. This is lovely. Oh, it's gorgeous. Kadavra just tucking in a little on the angle, reading what Heretics would have wanted, leaving Benji last man alive and a mile away from influence here. But Gentlemates, I have to give such credit here, being so proactive, so confident in their fights, backing themselves in 50-50s, if not, 40-60s, 30-70s. These guys are playing with zero fear.
Yeah, their first game was against Apex, and it was really hard to see
contextually.
Because, one of the weaker teams in the league potentially, and now they're going up against potentially the best team in the league.
Yeah.
To see, how do they react when they see the names in the server? Because that happens. It
does.
I've seen it
You've
happen
seen it
in
yourself.
real time. I've seen people looking at Chronicles with fear, you know what I mean?
I don't blame
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see that mates don't let this get to them.
But
it's almost like it's motivating them.
Yeah, and there's always that, there's certain teams always respond way better to confident starts, and you can kind of see why. It removes that worry or doubt, and we've got is this double timeout?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, double timeout on the half. Never going to be feeling good about that one. This time Neil's taking the vast majority of the conversation rather than Weber last time around, but still, clearly something's not clicking here for them. They've had 2 rounds so far that looked fine, but just not continued success. So again, loving what we're seeing from Gentlemates. Now I'm questioning, how good are Apex? If we're going to put things in context, wait, is Floor truly the chosen one? I don't know, but or Odorous. Floor. No, honestly, it's a problem I need to get out of. It's why I'm not allowed to cast their games anymore, too much bias. But they have a lot of ults here. I don't want to say it's a slam dunk round, it's probably not, but these are all influential big boy ults. If you've got a set piece, a little, gambit you want to play out, you play it now. That gets them up to 3, eyeing up maybe a little bit of buffer for that second half.
The only thing is that mates are going to be well aware of that. So taking a timeout with big ults is something I would try and avoid sometimes, because I don't want the other coach to get involved and start unpicking.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that kind of plays into effect at all.
Different setup though, especially from Gentlemates. I'm seeing Zipan over towards B. I'm seeing Robbie left on his own towards A.
And it looks like Heretics have made the right call here.
Yeah. All right, Robbie. I said you're a superstar in the making. What you got?
So he's using the drone to fake out some kind of A main aggression. You see on the other side of the map right here.
I feel they've been conditioned by Zipan, who's been so willing to shoulder that too, so they have to respect it to an extent. A deep smoke coming in as well, buying more times on this flank.
We'll see what the actual intention is. I guess they're just going to play for... They're flooding in. It looks like they are going to try and hold this side.
Okay, I'm still eyes on the flank here. Not sure what Click's going to do on this. They are on the side though.
Never mind. They teased the hold and then we're like, nope.
Don't fancy that. Okay, so Click's made it past. He's not set off anything behind them, but they might be aware of this. But Rian has to be careful. Bye-bye. Your contingency plan just goes out the window, falls away so the trade doesn't come in. There was no one there anyway. Mini now notes 3 players. The paranoia doesn't quite get him, but you can see the flash following does. Still, Mini, Zipan, just flooding back in. It is perfection watching these guys. And heartbreaking for Heretics. The cubby's been checked. They found you, Woot. You can't run and you can't hide. Gentlemates look like the real deal here.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. This guy apparently doesn't need to play Sentinel. He's just as good on Euro, apparently. I think that Heretics had a nice idea with the Astra ult deep into that post plant, pushing through the chokes, trying to get down and dirty. The flank, as a reaction to that flank coming in, just pushing out. But it just wasn't enough. The Euro ult was massive here.
I'm back. This one enemy remains.
Unreal. It feels like we've slipped into this alternate reality. Another flawless round there. we've seen a few of them, and this just doesn't feel right, you know? Maybe this is so deep down in Heretics' veto process, but they still let it through.
Yep.
So it can't be so far down that it's impossible. But anyway, I pause now. Rien's looking for a quick early start. Nice. Attempt.
Sort of ruse for them to get into vents here.
Yeah, no tag though, and you're right. How much did Robbie note of this? I guess maybe the smoke being there. Yeah, you can see him working out something's amiss.
Yeah, but usually when I can see the minimap, I can kind of paint the picture of what the steps were there for Heretics, but I'm not sure what the idea was. We've faked on the B with the server ult, we got into vents, and now we've left the vents. I'm a little bit, I don't know, a little bit confused right now.
If
I
this
don't know if this
confused.
is nerves, or
It
this
feels-
is over complication, or
Something's
I've
wrong.
missed something. I don't know. Something's not right.
I mean, at a 9-2 scoreline, I think we can be fair and say something's not working perfectly anyway, but this round does seem a little strange, and Mini's in the right place again. No one's clearing close. Mini, how many times does Mini get this many kills? He's had 2s, he's had 3s, he's had the lot of them now. Benji's off on walkabout somewhere. I mean, yeah, Rienz is going to bring the spike over, but this is a nightmare of a game. Benji's on 1-8, and I'm one of the biggest fans of this man. He's a treat to watch, an absolute pleasure to witness play. Same for all of the Heretic side. They look like a shadow of themselves here, but Plant should be in 2v5. Make me a believer again.
Yeah, Benji's going to have to make a massive play here. He knows it himself.
But I feel like he's one of those players who knows the win cons of making big plays. And I say this, it'll probably be nothing, but sometimes he knows that he has to go beyond the normal realms of what's to be expected. And he's got to just guess. He's got to try and make it happen. He only got one. That's not big enough. That's not enough here. There's Rienz.
Once again, just
how many times? Yep. Got 2 shock darts, got his own reveal as well. Not bad. Hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on. If there was a man to do it, maybe. Oh, just maybe, it's Rienz! 4 kills! You know there's talent. And he brings it forth in those moments. A 9-3, but off the back of individual brilliance. We still need to see more than that.
I mean, there's a reason he's the best in the EMEA.
He absolutely is, and we'll be back after this, so do not go anywhere for the second half. And I'd forgive you if you'd thought the graphic was the wrong way around or someone had put the numbers in the wrong place, but no, it is correct. Gentlemates leading at a 9-3 scoreline, and one of those rounds was kind of off the back of Rienz. Mini, talk to me here. What the hell has just happened? Can you summarize? Give me something, man.
I mean, that was just a bit of a masterclass from Gentlemates. I'm not sure how much of this is Heretics overcomplicating some of the rounds, not just making it a bit more direct. But there was a lot of great stuff from mates playing proactive without any kind of fear, it felt like. Yeah, beautiful.
Have they got it for the second half? We're about to find out. Gentlemates on the attacking side, of course, that then means Heretics in the defending seat. So we wait and see, right? Mini boot, Sheriff out, and that's about all she wrote.
Oh, nice little fake towards B here, using...
Look at it. They've bit on this one. And then they succeed. Oh god, it's not meant to go this well. That's the secondary point to this. They've over-succeeded. Click finding 2. They're going to get the plant towards A. And look at where Heretics are.
They've realized already. I was getting concerned that they were going to not realize for too long.
It's a long walk back.
And they don't have much utility for this retake. They don't have smokes. It's going to be tough. And Click is going to be the thorn in their side eventually if it really comes down to it.
Cage triggered.
Yeah, Rien's the only one in my mind who can try and do something. 2 shock darts, reveal, tap on the spike here. Benji looking for that first player to swing. Kadabra taking a good amount of chip damage on that, and we noted it before. There is still going to be Click coming in slowly but surely, and Robbie and Kadabra get things started with a bang. 10 rounds straight away for the underdogs here.
I mean, a beautiful pistol round.
Like, wasn't it great?
The idea of using the Yoru to fake but then TP back, but then they're using Jet and Omen like you traditionally see double duelists being played. The Omen TP's on top of the site, diving in like you would see like a Jet and a Raze, for instance. Jet going 2. I mean, that's a nasty pistol. That's one for the archives.
I mean,
that's for the mini archives right there. I'm seeing that.
Because kind of pausing this, I know a lot of people say, oh, well, Heretics were just not very good today. Cool, that's fine, and there's probably some validity to that, but what we're seeing coming out from Gentlemates, like that pistol round there, how they're applying the Yoru in this, everything that's working well for them deserves its own merit too. They've seen a lot on that drone there, and they're like, nah, that's 3 players. I don't want to go there. Off we pop. But this is where I want to make sure Gentlemates do get the credit for what they're doing, rather than people just saying Heretics have a bad day, because a lot of people will have that mentality.
Yep.
Now, do I think Heretics can get better than this? Yes, because I'm not stupid.
Yep.
They are very good at this game. We know that by now. I think everyone around the world does, but let's see if they can make any stand here, right? Otherwise, we wait for Fracture and we enjoy the show, but for now, we did have a hidden whoop cleared out. Oh. I'm willing them on here. I want to fight back, but
Caster Carson.
It's not as strong as Sliggy's. His was egregious earlier on. I was watching him when he was covering the EDG game. Shocking. What's it like to have that curse potential? Do you have the curse potential?
When I started streaming, I did.
It came through.
It came to me a little bit. Yeah, it's like the Force. It kind of just, you know.
Yeah, Sith Lord Mini, brilliant. Thanks for that one. See the little like black robe.
Yoda.
I need you to talk in just like how Yoda does. Not now, okay. But we're adding it onto the list. All right, it's gonna happen.
Yoda voice.
Oh, you can tell it's an 11-3, can't you? Because at the start of the day, I was like, oh, Heretics against Gentlemates, that'd be a quick day, that one. Not the way I thought it was going to be quick, though. Ah, the battle cry. The infamous Robbie battle cry. Again, used to it now, you know. Imagine losing to that. Tilts you a little bit, doesn't it? Just a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we do at least have bonus against Bai, 11-3.
Instant strategy from me. Oh, I can't
kill.
even talk and he's already got a kill.
Unlucky, mate. That's really unfortunate. Boo's gone. I don't know what to say. This is madness. We get upsets. We get them a lot, right? But this just feels bizarre. It feels like we've slipped into some alternate reality where Heretics can't get away from essentially 3 rounds, but let's see what they can do.
I highlighted it in the pre-match where we're talking about the kind of double duelist being kind of like a gamble that I liked. And I think if we added up the kills and deaths, I think we're at like 30-12 or something stupid right now. Like they have rolled the dice and they've hit a 6. Like, I don't know if this is going to be consistent, but
if it's their one-off,
pretty good right now.
Yeah, no. If you're going to run it now, that's cool, and it gets you a win above Heretics, at least on the map, right? This could all be just a footnote in the eventual story of this game when we get to Fracture, maybe make it to Pearl. It's all too a little bit out of normal, but I love this lurk as well. This flank coming in, but does Robbie get the timing right? There's still 2 players working their way through mid. Or I'm not sure about the timing, but Woot's one out towards the side. So if anything, he's got to speed up the pace here, or maybe bank on Zipan or Kadabra to really buy time and keep their attention turned. And I think they cancelled. Either Rien's noted it, because Rien's is looking that way. Maybe the lack of presence from Robbie or something along those lines. Already going to start clearing through the site, though, Benji and Woot. Clear on home. Robbie left in a 1v3. Oh, that's big info here. Oh, that's a better shot. Benji starting to get a little sharper. That's 4.
They've got enough rounds to work with, mates, to lose rounds like that, but it'd be really nice to see, you know, how good are they? Are they able to close these kind of games? They were in a massive, advantageous situation there, and they kind of let it be thrown away a little bit. In the context of this map, it might not matter, but in the context of their season, those are the rounds that we need to be looking at if this team wants to be the dark horse that we've kind of set them up to be.
And I think it kind of boils back to a lot of kind of what the whispers were at the start of this year. The Gentlemates, and a lot of people putting them towards the top 5, top 4 even at times. So you're right, can they play to those win cons of keeping clean games, even against someone like Heretics that is a very hard opponent? As it stands though, we're looking at pressure towards middle. There's still a little bit of a display on it.
Yeah, Mate's not rushing into anything, just doing the kind of standard defaulting, despite their composition having that power of the double duelist to go in deep if they want to. Just taking off the boxes.
God, the rotations are so quick as well. They swing that spike back over towards B.
Yeah, and the information from Heretics on this B side of the map has kind of led them to believe that they're still there. Mate's look at setting up a fake potentially again.
Double
with
fake,
that B
maybe?
side.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see what their goal is here. We're about 50 seconds in. And you can see that Heretics want info, right? They're droning down middle, they're trying to catch any of this. Something's pulled them over towards B. Maybe this pause on A, maybe just having faith in Benji that he can hold it.
Mates did. It looked like it was going to be a fake, but they literally just put a TP down. So
double fake.
A very strange fake if it was one. Keeping it simple, grouping up A, using that Euro.
There is util still here. Benji having to respect it to fall towards at least back sight. How does Mini play this one out? Benji's under pressure. Yeah, there was too much for him to handle. Mini on the crunch as they flood the front of the site. Too many angles to try and cover. Rienz couldn't really keep him safe either. So at this point, trying to stall out on the plant, but Robbie's got that one down. Time's on their side. 5v4. Flank being watched. Nice underhand. Flash gives Boo the fight towards Kadavra. Now, Gentlemates play forward in the side. They're grouping towards backside, leaving a little bit of this flank open, saying, screw it, we'll try and fight Miniboo and Rienz instead. Maybe the right call, as already Click going to take away the head of Miniboo. Follow-up swing goes Rienz's way, but they trade out numbers-wise. 3v1 now. Woot's fallen. Great mid-round calling or post-plant calling then coming in just to get group towards backside Mini. That was sick.
I mean, we saw that kind of protocol coming in for Heretics on the half, but...
We did.
The Gentlemates are hitting everything right now. Click is clicking people's heads like no business.
Yeah, we got Click and Mini just, because they were good in totally opposing roles, right? Mini was really impressive, kind of playing Sentinel. He was kind of the closer to Click being the opener. Now, those two look really solid. Like, this team has so much potential here.
Yeah, it's also a dynamic. When you see it working on official, you can be like, what other maps can we do these kind of ideas on? A map like Split screams out to me as the kind of map that I'd love to run this kind of thing on.
Learning on the fly about this team. More and more and more. Mini. Ooh, he's been caught.
I think that was like the interaction that happened
It must
before.
have been.
The
Yeah, with
KO
the
interacting with the ult with the knife.
Okay. Benji on this off angle. Won't be the first time he's played this setup. Very classically his almost. So they should be aware of it now, seeing the util in play. Benji does only have a Sheriff though, so very hard to try and find impact. Click. Just bulldozes through. The site's now open. The red carpet rolled. Woot's going to be eviscerated, and they're down to now 3. Nice from Boo. Big shots there. That's the spike now left loose. Another issue could come from this now. Time for a rotation. A little bit of paranoia in Mini Boo's mind because he does want to overcommit here.
Heretics doing a good job re-clearing mid. A nice little push down potentially, adding another layer whilst we're waiting for the spike to be planted.
I wonder how much he gets from this though, Miniboo. I like the idea. He's not had a great game though. 3 to 14, which is rare, right? Miniboo is a star. This is quiet for him. Now I'm already seeing Kadavra kind of look towards this way a little bit here, but timing can be everything in these moments. Plant's gonna come in now. Miniboo closing towards the gap here. Dash is on. Looking for a pixel on site, not gonna see it yet. He's cleared a lot of space here, but he's not spotted the play up towards the window. Bullet to the back of the brain. Kadavra's going to find him. And now the final two have to flood on through. And it's Gentlemates with 13 to 4. Outstanding scoreline. And a surprise to most of us. But who knows, is this a one-off? Or is this the team that everyone was fearing during the off-season? You're going to find out after the break. Don't go away.
Let's go!
Red Bull gives you wings.